What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I'm here to tell you about Blue Doflamingo. The folks over at Bandai have been making a real effort lately to try and make it so that Blue Doflamingo is good again, and I'm telling you, they might just have succeeded. No, it is not going and crushing all of the big tournaments right now. We're still in a metagame in OPO 8 in Japan, where by far the best deck is the starter deck 10 Trafalgar Law, and the only one that's really giving proper pushback here is Lucci, the OPO 7 Lucci. But I'm also telling ya that Blue Doflamingo is popping up a bunch in smaller tournaments. It is legit again, and I've been waiting for this since OPO 1. Now, of course, Blue Doflamingo's always had a really nice leader skill. Mono blue and Don X2, when attacking, pay 1, look at the top card of your deck. If it's a 7 Warlords of the Sea character with a cost of 4 or less, you may play that card rested. So you get a 7k swing with your leader, you pay 1 extra Don, and then you get potentially a 4 cost into play. And yes, there are a lot of 4 cost characters in this deck, like you might imagine. Not a coincidence. There's actually only one character that costs more, because again, you kind of want to maximize this. Although they're not all 7 Warlords of the Sea, most of them are. So what have we got here? Well, if we take an example list that's gone and won a tournament over in Japan, we've got ourselves Sengoku. Specifically, the fairly new Sengoku that we just got in OPO 7. Now, the new Sengoku from OPO 7 is a 1-cost character. We got 1 cost, 2,000 power, and on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Reveal a 7 Warlords of the Sea card and add it to your hand. Put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. You're already maximizing 7 Warlords of the Sea to try and take advantage of your leader, so this is going to work a lot more often than not. The other 1-cost card we have here is Buggy. 1 cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 2,000, and what this lets you do is look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. Now, firstly, you've got counter plus 2k, which is obviously brilliant. Every deck needs a bit of that. But secondly, this essentially lets you stack your deck so that you are going to hit something off Doflamingo, so your leader skill is going to fire. As a fun little side note, there are 5 new cards in Starter Deck 17, the Doflamingo Starter Deck that came out recently in Japan. All 5 of them are seeing play in the new builds of Doflamingo. I don't think that's a coincidence. Basically, Bandai have gone out of their way to try and make sure that Doflamingo is made better by this new starter deck. Seems like they might just have succeeded. Now, moving over to 2-cost cards, we've got ourselves a Marshall D. Teach. Yes, the new Marshall D. Teach, the new Blackbeard from Starter Deck 17. 2 cost, 3,000 power, and it's got an activate main once per turn that lets you place a card from your hand on top of your deck, and then attach up to 2 rested Dom to your leader or one of your characters. This I adore in this deck, because here's the thing, right? You need Don X2 on your Doflamingo to get the skill firing. This will put the Don on there. And secondly, this will let you put a card on top of your deck, so you know you're going to hit with your leader skill afterwards. Love it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely love it. This has such wonderful synergy. The only downside is it's not a great hit off of Doflamingo, but I think we'll be alright. Now, they're not all new cards. We are obviously going to be playing the Doflamingo from OPO1. Firstly, it's a blocker. That's a good thing. Secondly, on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put them on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Like a couple cards we've already seen here, what we're trying to do is stack our deck so that we're more likely to actually hit what we want off of Doflamingo, which ends up being pretty gosh darned important. Now, we got ourselves Gecko Moria from right back in Starter Deck 3. On play, you add a 7 Warlords of the Sea or Thriller Bark Pirates character with a cost of 4 or less other than Gecko Moria from your trash to your hand. Well, yeah, you're playing a bunch of 4-cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea characters in this deck. That's kind of the point, and this will let you either recover to put on top of your deck, or just recover to play later. either's fine by me. Now we have ourselves a new Trafalgar Law here, 4 cost, 4,000 power. It is the one from OP07. It's got another counter plus 2,000, which is pretty important. And it lets you return this character to the owner's hand as an activate main. And if your opponent's got 6 or more cards in hand, they put a card from their hand to the bottom of their deck. Alright for a little bit of disruption, but it also lets you bounce a counter plus 2k back to your hand, which is obviously a pretty good thing, because then you've got a 2k counter sitting in your hand ready to go. The last 2 have been 4 cost characters. Oh, we ain't done yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're actually also playing the other 4 cost Trafalgar Law, the 5,000 power. Now this is the new super rare from Starter Deck 17. Again, all the new Starter Deck 17 cards to see in play here. And this is the one whereby on play, you may return one of your characters to its owner's hand. And then if your leader is 7 Warlords of the Sea, which it obviously will be here, return a 4 cost or lower to its owner's hand. So you pick up one of your characters, really good here for Buggy, because Buggy's got a really nice play skill and counter plus 2k, so play Buggy and use this to bounce Buggy back to hand, and then you get to bounce one of your opponent's characters as well, which is awesome. Edward Weevil is not a character I particularly like, but it is a card which I think is good in this deck. It's a 4 cost, 6,000 power, on play, draw a card. But it's 7 Warlords of the Sea, so if you can stack this to the top of your deck, which you often will be able to with Doflamingo, you get a 6k body on the board while drawing a card. That's a good thing. We've got the Jinbei from OP07 that on play lets you play a 7 Warlords of the Sea character with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. It's a 2 for 1. Well, again, we got a bunch of 4 cost or lower 7 Warlords of the Sea, and we got a Gecko Moria that will allow you to recover one to then play with Jinbei. You can see where the synergy's going here. You're not just playing free characters with your leader, although you are. You're also playing free characters with a bunch of your other cards. Now, the other new super rare in Starter Deck 17 is Boa Hancock, and yes, obviously we're playing it. 4 cost, 6,000 power blocker. Good blocker that can be played for free. Yay. And on play, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them in any order on top or bottom of your deck, and then give one of your 7 Warlords of the Sea characters or leader a Rested Don. So again, we're giving our leader Rested Don, or one of your characters. You're giving Rested Don, that's good. But again, we're stacking the top of our deck, and unashamedly so. We want to make sure our leader skill is firing every turn, and we want to make sure we can really make the most of this. By the way, we're still on 4 cost characters, alright? I've been showing you 4 cost characters for a while, and then we're not done yet. There is a Dracul Mihawk. Oh, look, it's a 4 cost. 4 cost, 5,000 power, counter plus 2k. Again, we need count. We got a couple of blockers, which is good, but we need some counter plus 2k as well. And we've got Don X1, when attacking, draw 2, trash 2. Counter plus 2k, can be played for free, has a draw engine. You can see why we like this card so much, can't ya? One of the other new cards, I think the last new card we need to look at from Starter Deck 17 is the new Crocodile. And we've got on play, reveal a card from the top of your deck. If it's 7 Warlords of the Sea, draw 2 cards and place a card from your hand to the top of your deck. So basically, you look at the top of your deck, oh, it's a 7 Warlords of the Sea. There are very few cards in this deck that aren't. And all the ones that aren't, you can basically get away from the top by making sure that you use all your stack in the deck tricks. And then you're drawing here, but then you're still putting the right card back on top for later. It's absurd. And then the final one we've got here is Charlotte Puddin from OP06. Not a 7 Warlords of the Sea. For anyone that's wondering, the other one we've seen so far is Sengoku. Also not a 7 Warlords of the Sea. But essentially, some of them are good enough that we're willing to go away anyway. I mean, Sengoku, Navy. Charlotte Puddin, Big Mum Pirates. But they're that good. Charlotte Puddin makes your opponent return all cards in their hand to their deck, shuffle their deck, and draw 5 cards. It is good hand disruption, and also good when you know your opponent's got a good hand of cards. And then finally, we have a couple of Kaido. Kaido is not a 7 Warlords of the Sea. It's a 4 Emperors, it's a step above, but it's not a 7 Warlords of the Sea. But it's 10 cost, 12,000 power, and on play you draw 4. It's just a ridiculous blue card. It is as simple as that. In terms of event cards, we're not playing very many here, but we do dabble a little bit into Perfume Femur. It is a 7 Warlords of the Sea card, which is important. And as a main, select one of your 7 Warlords of the Sea leader or characters, give them 2,000 power, and then if they attack, your opponent cannot activate blocker. Great for ending the game here, 2k bump and turning off blocker. Or as a trigger, you draw a card, which isn't too bad either. The other one we've got here is Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, that puts 2 characters of a cost of 6 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck in any order. Or as a trigger, you place a character with a cost of 5 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Just a bit of that classic blue disruption. Here's a deck list as a whole, and I think we're getting somewhere with Blue Doflamingo. I don't think it's the best deck in the meta right now, and I'm not going to tell you it is. It's clearly started X10 lore. But I absolutely do think we've now got enough tricks with Blue Doflamingo that it is becoming a top tier deck. And I think the fact that there were 5 new cards in Started X17 and all of them made their way into this deck, I don't think that's much of a surprise. Right, there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Do you think this is awesome? Do you think it is legit? Or do you think it's still not quite good enough? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Lawasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossie Plays.